I regret cheating on my perfect husband. He replaced me. From Tisha. Hi, true story. I'm not even sure how to begin this email. I found your channel a few weeks ago, and ever since, I've been watching video after video, listening to all these stories from men about heartbreak, betrayal, and rebuilding. I don't know if mine will be received with the same compassion, since I'm not the victim in my story. I was the one who ruined everything. I cheated on the best man I've ever known, over and over again, and I lost him forever because of it. The worst part? I still don't understand what was wrong with me, why I kept doing it, why I couldn't stop. But I'll start from the beginning, from when I met him. Maybe if I tell the whole story, it'll make a little more sense, or maybe someone out there will learn from my mistakes. His name is David. And if you ask me today who the best man I've ever known is, I wouldn't hesitate to say it's him. We met when I was 26. I had just started working at a plant nursery across from a Lowe's where he was the store manager. It was a small town, and the stores were part of the same plaza, so we crossed paths a lot. I remember the first time I saw him, he was helping an elderly man load fence panels into his truck in the parking lot. He wasn't just helping, he was smiling, laughing with him, like he genuinely cared. I stood there watching him for a moment longer than I should have. A few days later, I ran into him at the deli that sat between our buildings. I don't even remember what I said, probably something dumb, but he smiled and offered to buy my sandwich. I laughed it off, but he was persistent, in a polite way. Charming, but respectful. He handed the cashier his card before I could say no again. That was our first real conversation. From there, it just grew naturally. We'd grab lunch together, talk during breaks, and eventually exchange numbers. David was different from anyone I'd ever dated. He was steady, kind, no drama, no games. He listened, like actually listened, and followed through on everything he said he would. At first, I was suspicious of how consistent he was. I wasn't used to that kind of stability, and part of me didn't know how to receive it. But over time, I grew to love it. I grew to love him. He made me feel safe in a way I'd never known. We dated for 2 years before he proposed. I remember crying when he asked, not because I was surprised, but because I felt like I was finally being chosen by someone who saw me. We got married the following spring in a simple outdoor ceremony. Nothing fancy, just close friends and family, and us promising to build a life together. For the first few years, everything was great. David worked long hours, but he always made time for me. He helped with housework, cooked on weekends, planned date nights. He even fixed my mom's porch when she needed help. He never asked for recognition. He just did what needed to be done, and he did it with love. So how did I ruin that? That's the question I keep asking myself every night. It started with something small. An old fling messaged me on Facebook, and instead of ignoring him, I responded. We caught up. Harmless stuff, or so I told myself. It escalated over a few weeks into something physical. I told myself it was a one-time thing, a mistake, that I'd never do it again. But then it happened again, not with him, but with someone else. Then someone else after that. At first, I felt guilty. I'd come home, look David in the eyes, and feel like the worst woman alive. But over time, I got used to it. I compartmentalized. I started to feel like it was normal, like I was just blowing off steam, like it didn't mean anything. I convinced myself that since David never found out I wasn't hurting him, that's a lie I told myself for years. David never checked my phone. He never questioned where I was. He trusted me with everything, and I took advantage of it. I never gave him a reason not to, until I gave him the biggest reason of all. It happened on a Tuesday morning. David had already left for work, or so I thought. I had taken a week off, a little staycation because I had extra PTO, and I just wanted time to myself. That morning, I had a man over, We weren't doing anything, not yet. We were just sitting on the couch watching TV. But I was dressed in a way that made things clear, and the energy between us was obvious. That's when I heard the front door open. David had forgotten his wallet. I still remember the way his face looked when he saw us. He didn't scream. He didn't shout. He didn't even say a word to the guy. He just looked at me with this mixture of heartbreak and realization and turned around. He left without saying a word. The guy I was with got the hint and left immediately. I sat on the couch for nearly an hour trying to process what had just happened. I texted David, called him, no response. He didn't come home that night. The next day, I came home from running errands and saw that he had cleared out his side of the closet. That was when I knew it was over. He didn't even wait to confront me. He didn't give me a chance to lie or explain. He just left. When he finally reached out, it was through a lawyer. He was done. That's when I learned the truth. He had suspected something for a while, but never had proof. I guess part of him didn't want to believe it, but seeing me in that moment, that was all he needed. I begged him to meet in person. He agreed, one time. I cried the entire meeting. I told him how sorry I was, how I didn't know why I did what I did, how I still loved him. He just sat there quietly. When I finished, he said, "Tisha, I gave you the best years of my life and you spit on them. I don't hate you, but I can't ever love you again." Those words broke me in a way I didn't expect. I thought I could win him back. I thought I could fix it. I couldn't. We divorced 6 months later, and the real punch in the gut came about 2 weeks before the hearing, when I saw a photo of him on Facebook with another woman. She was beautiful. They looked happy. I didn't even know he was dating. And now here he was in a relationship, posting couple photos, getting comments from friends, saying things like, "You two look amazing together." It felt like my heart exploded in my chest. I know that sounds rich coming from me, the serial cheater, but I never imagined he'd move on that fast. I started spiraling. I tried logging into some of his old accounts, wondering if maybe he had been cheating on me all along. I know that's stupid, hypocritical, but I was desperate. I wanted some excuse to hate him, some reason to tell myself he wasn't so perfect after all. I failed trying to get into anything. A few days later, I got a text from him that said, "Please stop trying to access my Gmail. I know it's you. Don't do that." I lied. I said it wasn't me. But he knew. And the truth is, even if he had cheated, it still wouldn't justify what I did. I was the one who broke us. He was just trying to put himself back together. It's been a year since the divorce. I live alone now. I don't date. I barely talk to people. Most of the guys I used to mess with have faded away, and the ones who haven't, well, they were never worth anything anyway. They were just distractions, cheap replacements for something real that I never truly appreciated. I still have dreams about David, about us being happy, about going back in time and undoing it all. But then I wake up and reality hits me in the chest all over again. I ruined the best thing that ever happened to me. I was selfish. I was broken. And I never did the work to understand why I needed validation from other men when I already had a husband who treated me like a queen. Sometimes I wonder if something's wrong with me on a deeper level. Why couldn't I just be satisfied with a man who loved me fully? Why did I keep risking everything? I don't have answers, only regrets. A few weeks ago, I stumbled across your channel, True Story. I don't even remember what video it was, something about a man whose wife cheated on him during a girls' trip. I watched the whole thing in tears. Then I watched another and another. I finally realized I wasn't just listening because I was entertained. I was looking for myself in these stories. I was the villain in every single one. And for the first time, I truly understood the pain I had caused David. I'm not writing this for sympathy. I don't deserve it. I'm writing this because maybe someone out there needs to hear from the other side, from the woman who had everything and threw it away, from the woman who thought cheating was harmless until it cost her the only man who ever truly loved her. I don't know if David watches your channel. I doubt it. But if by some miracle he does, I just want to say I'm sorry. For real. You didn't deserve any of it. You were perfect. You were more than enough. I was the one who wasn't. Thank you for reading this. I don't know if it'll ever make it on the channel, but just writing it has helped me process things in a way I hadn't before. If even one woman hears this and chooses not to make the same mistakes I did, then it'll be worth it. Take care. Subject: follow up. I left out the ugly truth about what I did. Hi, True Story. Thank you again for sharing this space where people can speak their truth. I gave you the polished version, the one that makes me sound like a flawed woman who simply made mistakes and lost the love of her life. But the truth is darker than that. I've been lying to myself for a long time, and even when I tried to confess, I still found ways to protect the image of myself. I skipped over the real damage. I downplayed what I did. I softened the truth to keep a piece of my dignity. But not this time. I want to tell the whole story, not because I think it'll redeem me, but because I need to say it out loud. I need to face the ugliness I've buried. I want this to be my therapy, my way of finally owning everything, piece by piece. If you read it and never post it, that's fine. Just getting this off my chest already feels like a step towards something real, some kind of closure, even if I never get forgiveness. So here it is. Every time I cheated on David, every near miss, every lie I told, no holding back. The first affair. The first time was with a man named Marcus. I had known him years before David, and we randomly bumped into each other at a gas station about 6 months after David and I got married. He looked good, familiar. We exchanged numbers under the excuse of catching up, and about a week later, I met him at a hotel off the interstate. At the time, I was going through a weird emotional phase. David had just taken on a new regional project at Lowe's that kept him at the store late into the evenings, and I convinced myself I was feeling neglected. Looking back, he wasn't neglecting me. He was working overtime to give us a better future, but I didn't appreciate it then. I told Marcus I was in a rough patch and used that as an excuse to sleep with him. I remember leaving the hotel feeling sick to my stomach, but I didn't stop. The second time. A month later, I met a guy at the gym. His name was Corey. He flirted a lot, and I ate it up. I didn't even hesitate when he asked for my number. This one wasn't even emotional. It was purely physical. We hooked up in his car twice, once after a workout and once during lunch when I said I was running errands. I lied to David about where I was and what I was doing. Looking back, I have no idea how I kept my story straight. Almost caught one. The first time I almost got caught was with Corey. One Saturday, David said he was going to help his sister with her deck and would be gone all day. I took that opportunity to invite Corey over. We had just finished doing what we were doing when I got a text from David. Heading back soon? She canceled. You want anything from Wawa? My stomach dropped. Corey was still getting dressed. I told him he needed to leave. Now. I was panicking. My hands were shaking. David was only 15 minutes away. Corey ran out the back door and hopped the fence. I sprayed the house with Febreze, just like an idiot, changed the sheets, and opened all the windows. David walked in 20 minutes later and said, "It smells like flowers in here. You clean or something?" I laughed and said I had candles burning. He kissed me on the forehead and went to take a nap. I sat there in pure silence, terrified, and still I didn't stop. The third affair. This one lasted months. His name was Terrence. We worked together on a community fundraiser for my church. He was charming, smart, and confident. I started seeing him regularly, once a week, sometimes more. I would lie and say I had meetings, or I'd go out shopping and be gone for hours. He knew I was married. He didn't care. I think part of him liked it. That affair was the one that really changed me. It made me numb. I stopped feeling guilty. I stopped thinking about David when I was doing these things. I became two different people, the devoted wife and the reckless cheater. I was living a double life. David never suspected a thing, or if he did, he never said anything. Almost caught too. The window incident. I can't believe I left this part out of the first email, but it's the one that still haunts me. It was a Thursday. David had left for work, and I had taken a sick day because I wasn't feeling well. The truth was, I had Terrence coming over that morning. We were on the couch when we heard the garage door open. David had forgotten his laptop for a meeting. He was not supposed to be home. I panicked. Terrence grabbed his shoes and ran to the guest room, where the window led to the side yard. I helped him open the screen, and he literally climbed out, shirt half on, belt in hand. I slammed the window shut just as David came in the front door. He looked at me and asked why I looked so flushed. I laughed and said, "I was just napping. You scared me." He said, "Sorry, babe. Forgot my laptop." He walked right past the window. Had he turned his head slightly, he would have seen Terrence jogging down the sidewalk like a lunatic. That moment was my warning from God, my sign to stop, to get my act together. But I didn't. The fourth and fifth guys. At this point, I was deep in it. There was another man, Josh, a coworker I used to flirt with during lunch breaks. We kissed a few times in the storage room, and one night after drinks with coworkers, we ended up in his car. Then there was Devin. He was younger, a bartender at this place I liked. I hooked up with him twice in a parking lot behind the bar. These were emotionless, just selfish impulses. I had convinced myself David would never know, that I had it all under control, that as long as I came home, cooked dinner, and smiled, everything was fine. Almost caught 3, the broken necklace. David bought me a necklace for our anniversary one year. I loved it and wore it often, but I also wore it while hooking up with Devin one night. It broke while we were messing around, and one of the stones fell off. David noticed the next day. "Hey, what happened to the necklace? It's missing a piece." I lied and said it got snagged on a clothing rack at TJ Maxx. He believed me. He offered to take it to a jeweler for repair. I declined. These moments piled up, lie after lie, sin after sin. The sixth guy, the staycation guy. This is the one David actually caught. I told you about him in the first email. I can't even remember his name now. I think it was Chris or Chase. That's how meaningless it was. He was just a random guy I met on Instagram. We'd been messaging for a few weeks. I invited him over during my week-long staycation because I was bored and lonely, and David was working double shifts. We were watching TV. Nothing had happened yet, but we both knew why he was there. Then David walked in. He had forgotten his wallet. I've never seen his face look the way it did that day. It wasn't just anger. It was disbelief, pain, like someone had just told him his whole life was a lie. He didn't yell. He didn't say a word. He just walked out. It was the beginning of the end. Why I did it. Now that I've laid it all out, maybe you're wondering why. The truth is, I still don't fully understand. I had a good man, a great man. He loved me. He never raised his voice. He supported my dreams. He made me feel safe. And yet I threw it all away for meaningless flings with men who didn't even care about me. I think part of me was addicted to the attention, the thrill, the validation. I liked being wanted, even if it was just for a few minutes. I liked feeling desirable, and I hated myself for needing that from anyone other than my husband. There was something broken in me, something I never dealt with. I had baggage from a toxic childhood, from being cheated on in past relationships, from not believing I deserved love, and instead of facing those wounds, I passed the pain forward. David didn't deserve that. He was the only man who ever gave me consistent love, the only one who never lied to me, and I was the one who betrayed him over and over and over again. What hurts the most? What hurts the most isn't just that I lost him. It's that he's okay without me. After we divorced, he moved on fast. He met someone else, went public with her on Facebook before our court hearing, and looked genuinely happy. That broke me. I thought maybe he was hurting too, that maybe he'd struggle like I was, but he didn't. He rebuilt his life while I sank into a pit of shame and silence. I even tried to log into his accounts, thinking maybe I'd find proof he was cheating too, but I didn't. I got caught trying to get into his Gmail. He messaged me and asked me to stop. That was probably the last real communication we ever had. He never looked back. He never gave me a second chance. And honestly, he shouldn't have. Why I'm sharing this now? I don't know who I thought I was protecting by leaving all this out the first time. Maybe myself, maybe him. But I'm tired of lying, even to strangers, even to myself. I want this to be part of my healing. Writing this all out raw and unfiltered has made me see the full extent of the destruction I caused. I wasn't just unfaithful, I was reckless, selfish, and cruel. I made a mockery of a man who loved me unconditionally. I lost the best thing that ever happened to me because I never respected it while I had it. If David ever hears or reads this, I just want him to know, you were right to leave. You were right not to look back. I was poison in your life and you deserved peace. I hope you have that now. I hope she treats you better than I ever did. You didn't deserve a single ounce of pain I caused you. And to anyone listening or watching, especially the women, please don't be me. Don't let your ego, your emptiness, or your need for validation destroy something real. There are not many Davids out there, and once you lose one, trust me, it doesn't come back. Thanks again for letting people like me share their truth, even if it's ugly.